Breaking news is a search for a killer in Kenosha.
Police on the hunt for a 15-year-old who could be armed and dangerous, Marquise.
According to authorities, one person shot in the head and killed, a second person down and dead, a third man hit but expected to survive.
Congress is back in session and Democrats are pushing to pass gun control laws after the mass shootings in Texas and Ohio last month.
But some cities around the country have seen protests turn violent with rioting and looting.
Right now, the state has almost 31,000 confirmed cases and more than 900 known deaths.
Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I want to make a video that I think is becoming more and more important by the day. Now, if you look at our societal climate, we have violent riots in the streets, buildings being burned to the ground, and mobs of people blocking roadways. And they're even going to the point where they're blocking innocent motorists, assaulting them in their vehicles, and at times even extracting them from their vehicles and putting their lives in danger. But you and I both know that this is going to continue to happen more and more frequently as we get closer to the election, and even depending on who wins the election, probably beyond that. So with that, it's important for us to talk about a get-home bag. But what I don't want to do is just tell you what I have in my get-home bag and tell you what you need to put in yours, because everybody's context is different. The most important thing is to understand the point behind having a get-home bag and why it's so important today compared to times past. All right, so first let's talk about the purpose behind the bag and what the bag is and what it is not. First of all, it is not an EDC bag. This is not a bag you're going to put in your vehicle, grab out, throw over your back when you're going to the Walmart or a grocery store or going about your daily activities. That's not this bag. That's an EDC bag. This is also not a bug out bag. It's not something you're going to store in your house, and then if there was some type of catastrophe, you grab and trek out into your bug out location for days to weeks at a time. This is a get home bag. It's specifically designed to get you home from wherever you're at if you have to abandon your vehicle. So there's two considerations you need to think about when determining what items to put in your bag. The first one being distance. How far away from home are you typically? Most people spend the week at work, and most people work between 30 minutes to an hour away from home. Same with me. So my bag is designed to get me home from about a 30-minute to an hour drive, which would be about a one-day walk, maybe less. But if you work 2 hours, or God forbid you work 3 hours from home, you need to adjust your items, adjust your bag size to fit your needs. The second consideration is your climate. I live in a warm weather climate, so very low on my priority list is going to be cold weather gear or items for shelter. But if you live in an area that gets 10 below or 30 below zero at night, which there is the possibility that you could have to spend the night outside, that's going to be much, much higher on your priority list. So what I'm trying to say is, don't just copy what I have, don't copy what somebody else has. Really think about what you need before you start building out your bag, because it's the most important part. So let's get into the exterior of this bag. So the bag I use is the Eberlestock H31 Bandit. And I want to take this moment to kind of give a shout out to Eberlestock. First, I'll say I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not being paid to do this. They didn't ask me to make a video about their bag. I just know they're great people. I have somewhat of a relationship with them, and I am a true believer in their bags. Their bags are the best in the industry. So let's talk about the outside of this bag. I have it in black, but it comes in black, blue, gray, and then a bunch of different camo patterns. But for me, a get home bag should kind of be that gray man look. You're trying to blend in. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want to look tactical. You don't want people to target you for any reason. So for that reason, I went with black, because it's just a neutral color that pretty much everybody has. Now, the outside of this bag doesn't look too tactical. It does have this laser cut MOLLE panel here that you can secure items into, and it does have some MOLLE around the outside of the bag, but other than that, it's not all that tactical. If we flip it around, you have adjustable shoulder harnesses that are made of this mesh material. Now, I'm not a huge nerd out on gear guy, so I don't know all the specs of this bag, but I do know it's top quality, and this bag particularly is my favorite bag I've ever had. So we'll start with the items I secure in here. First, I'll take down this panel, and I have binoculars. Now, binoculars are not for everybody, and they may not even, to be honest with you, be necessary for me. But my thought process behind having binoculars in there is I live in a rural area. And if there's some type of large catastrophic event and I'm going home, I'm probably going to want to scout out my house to see if it's been overrun or anything like that. So binoculars are good for that reason if you live in a rural setting. For urban or suburban environments, probably not all that necessary. All right, so moving along to the side of this bag, we have a panel here, or a pouch that's typically used to put like a Nalgene bottle in there or water bottle. I have a thermo flask. You're always gonna want water in this bag. It doesn't even matter if you're typically 5 minutes from home, still at least have some form of water in there. And then I have a flashlight. This is a rechargeable battery flashlight, so it's something you hook to the wall and recharge it. But in addition to that, I have a flashlight that takes CR123 batteries, and I also have an EDC flashlight. So I like to have multiple flashlights on me just in case, but if you're going to only have one flashlight, in my opinion, in your bag, you want a flashlight that takes CR123 batteries because you can store 123 batteries in your bag and then replace them if the light goes out. Conversely, if you just have a rechargeable battery and you don't have a means to recharge the battery, once it goes out, you're SOL. So I have both, but if you're only gonna choose one, my preference is getting one with CR123 batteries and you can just replace them. On the other side, we have the same thing. It is also a water bottle pouch. I don't use it for that. I've got two-way radios here. Now, I'm not going to use these radios in an attempt to get in contact with somebody at home. The purpose behind these is if I have somebody in my car and for whatever reason we may end up getting separated, I still want a means to communicate with them, especially if we're in some type of major catastrophic event where the grid's down, cell phones are down, and this could be the only form of actually talking to each other, hopefully, then we at least have that ability. Also on the side, I've got spare Glock mags. I carry 2 of them along with the spare I have on me in my holster, and then the one in the gun itself equaling 4 magazines. The more the better. On the side here, I've also got a survival knife. So me personally, I'm about as far from it gets from being a bushcraft survival guy, but this is lightweight, it doesn't take up much space, so I figure why not put it in there. It's typically something you're gonna see in like a bug out bag, but for this, it doesn't take up any space, why not put it in there just in case you never know. The last thing I have on the outside that's, in my opinion, very, very important is a pair of gloves. These are Pig tactical gloves. Like I said, I'm a warm weather climate guy, so I'm not really worried about my hands getting cold, but it's amazing how fast your hands can get beat up doing any type of work, and it's important to take care of them, especially if you're outside, away from home, away from medical for extended periods of time. So definitely have gloves in there, guys. That's about it. That's all I put on the outside of my bag. So now we will take a dive into the actual meat and potatoes, which is the interior of the bag. All right, moving along to the inside of the bag, we have a top small mesh panel, little pouch here. The things I store in here are kind of the small items like this, for example. I have a Gucci Guess sunglasses case that I got for my wife, but I don't wear Guess sunglasses. I have fire starter kit in here. Inside my fire starter kit is pretty much bare bones. I've got cotton balls that are saturated in Vaseline, the easiest way to start a fire, at least from my experience, along with multiple lighters. I have some dryer lint, and then I have some fire stick things here. Bare bones, basic, easy way to start a fire. Not all that concerned about it, but that's kind of what I got going on there. Also on top, I've got a lantern here that is solar generated, so this could be something you could use for camping or whatever, but just an extra means of lighting that doesn't require batteries, doesn't require to be charged, but can provide you light. And then lastly, in the top, not lastly, but most importantly, is your headlamp. These, you can get these that are very expensive or very cheap. This is kind of a cheap one. It's Kanga Light. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I haven't, but it works. The whole point is, does it work? Yes, this does. It hasn't broke down on me yet, and you want a headlamp on you or a headlight on you so that you can be able to use your hands while you're working around your campsite or whatever if it gets that bad. Definitely have a headlamp on there. I've got a Write in the Rain notepad, just in case if you have to jot down notes for whatever reason. This is always a good thing to have. Takes up no space, very lightweight. And then I've got a pocket knife in there, and I think that is it for the top pouch. Like I said, it's a small pouch just used to use for those little items that you want to gain access to that you may need. But now we're going to dive into this big bad boy here, the main pouch. Now, one thing you're going to notice about this zipper here, if I down this panel, our zippers can zip all the way down on this bag. So I can take this entire bag down and grab things, from bottom, not have to take everything out from the top to get to the bottom is the point I'm trying to make. If there's something on the bottom I want to get, I can unzip this all the way down and grab that item without having to take everything out. So let's talk about what we got going on in here. First, we've got a tourniquet. I always carry a tourniquet on my person, always, but it never hurts to have backup tourniquets, and the place you want to put that tourniquet is in the very top of your bag. You want to prioritize your items when you're putting them in this bag. So if you have an emergency happen, do you want to be digging into your bag to get your tourniquet? No, you want it right there. You know exactly where it's at, and you don't have to dig at all. So when you're putting things in here, it goes in priority of, if you're going to need immediate access to them. A tourniquet is one of those things that goes on top. I also have, AAA batteries, not really a priority, but they don't take up space. And then my med kit, basic bare bones med kit. I've got, combat gauze, Band-Aids, hand sanitizer, insect repellent, ibuprofen, a rat's tourniquet. I know not very many people like the rats, but I have little kids, and I've heard they're good with toddlers, so I'm gonna bring one just in case. But again, it's at the top of the bag, easy access. If in case I need it, it is there. That's where you always want to place your medical bag if you don't already have a spare one on that's actually not in the bag itself. Then we've got dude wipes, baby wipes for dudes. That's pretty much explains it. That's what they are. Trash bags, multifunctional, not just for trash. You can cut arm holes out of them and then use it as like a poncho or a way to stay dry in the rain. If you don't have a poncho, that's very important if you live in like a rainy weather climate. And then I've got rope because you never know. You may need rope for something. I don't have an example for you, but you could need rope, so why not have it? 550 cord. This is the heart and soul of this bag. This can be used for pretty much everything. Super lightweight, and you can never have too much of it. Always have 550 cord in there. Who knows, maybe I'll throw some more in there just in case because it's so multifunctional. I've got space blankets, 2 of them, one for me, one for if I have somebody else in the car if we were to need it. Also multifunctional. It's not just something you can use as a blanket. They're very, very lightweight and very easy to store in there. Pretty cheap. I would get a few and put them in there. Balaclava, warm weather climate. This is probably going to get me sweating at night. This is really all I need, but I have it just in case. Water. I already have a thermo flask, but I have more water. You can never have too much. Well, I won't say that because water is somewhat heavy, but it's always good to have an adequate amount of water to get you where you want to go. You don't want to run that risk of actually running out of water. So it's not something you want to, take rations on. Just make sure you have enough water. Food. I've got emergency rations, 2 of them. So these are 2,400 calories broken down into 6 different meals. That's 6 400-calorie meals per one of these. More than enough for a 24-hour trip for me, and it might even be enough for 2 people, depending on what your calorie intake is, depending how big you are, and depending on how much calories you burn going to wherever it is you're going. I carry 2 of them just in case there's a second person. This should be plenty for me and one other person to actually get home. Probably not the best tasting, but that's not all that important to us right now. We're just trying to get home. A wool little jacket, sweater. Like I said before, this is gonna get me sweating at night, but you never know. You want it lightweight, doesn't take up much space. And then my third layer of ability to get water is a life straw. This is for like last resort, things are going terrible. I don't have any water in my thermo flask. I have no water left in my emergency pouches. At least I have this if there's some type of stream. This is kind of like a worst case scenario, catastrophic event. I'm gone away from home for much longer than I thought I was going to be there. At least I still have the ability to get some water. Last resort means of getting water with the life straw. And then I've got a poncho. Not all that important for me, very lightweight, putting it in there anyways. But for you, if you live in an area that's constantly raining, this might be a big deal for you. So if that is you, definitely have one of these in there. And then all I've got left is a pen in there. That's about it, guys. But The whole point of this video is not telling you what I have and telling you what you need to get. What I want to do is make you understand that you need to build out your bag around your needs, depending on the distance you are away from home typically and the climate that you are living in. Then prioritize the items and then build out your bag and get a bag that's big enough depending on what you actually need to put in there, guys. That's all I've got for you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.